Hello, everyone. This is Mark Peterson joining you from For Life Research in Sandy, Utah, a company with thousands of distributors on 6 continents who are daily making a positive difference in people's physical and financial health with patented and proprietary products. Founded on significant research and with a continuing commitment to providing products that improve the quality of individuals' lives, For Life has a record of continual annual growth and success. With innovative and quality products and an unmatched compensation plan, David and Bianca Lizenvies, our founders, dream of creating a base upon which individuals can build their own successful businesses has come to pass. Businesses that are focused on helping other people. Businesses that provide successful livelihoods or supplemental income. Businesses that can restore and promote physical, financial, and other forms of wellness. Businesses that include families and friends. Businesses that can be a legacy. That's For Life. That can be your For Life. Today, I am so happy to have a professional member of the For Life team join me. He's a member of the Health Science Advisory Board for the company. He is our very first distributor ever. He is a medical doctor. Dr. Robert Robertson, Jr. is here with us today from Paducah, Kentucky. Dr. Robertson, it is great to have you be our guest today, and I know everybody would be a little bit excited or maybe really excited about hearing your background, your educational background, and some of your work history. Could you tell them about that before we get started today?
I could. I'll give you a quick overview of my history. I graduated from Centre College in Danville, Kentucky, my wonderful little school, at which I just attended my 50th college reunion. I used to think when people came back for their 50th that we needed to help them out of the car, perhaps help them up the steps. We had a pretty lively group of 40 graduates of the class of 63. Then I went to medical school at the University of Louisville. I did my postgraduate training at the University of Louisville affiliated hospitals in straight medicine and then emergency medicine. Then I became a member of the American College of Emergency Physicians after completing my residency. Came to Paducah, Kentucky, and began a career as director of emergency medicine at Baptist Health here in Paducah. And that led me to getting out of the active emergency medicine profession in 1994 when I opened a Ready Care walk-in clinic and started getting interested in wellness and nutrition and preventive medicine. None of my colleagues were in preventive medicine, and I thought that was something that was a great need. I developed a line of nutritional supplements called underneath the name of Doctor's Nutrition System. And in running my wellness and preventive medicine practice, I was looking for new products and found out about transfer factor. And in 1997, I closed my practice. I sold my nutritional supplement company and made the long journey out to Utah. And in December of 97, I became a distributor on a handshake because they didn't even have a distributor application to fill out, and I haven't filled out one to this day. I suppose I do have a number, distributor ID number, but I have no application. But transfer factor is what got me interested in For Life because I was looking for a definitive product, not a me-too product, to add to my line. And I talked to David and Bianca in December of 97, and they were looking for somebody with a medical background but also had an interest in wellness and preventive medicine. And so on a handshake, as I said, I became a distributor. We literally built the company together, of course, because we really had nothing going for us at that time. Very little promotional material. We had, I think, 5 employees in the home office operating out of a little tiny building. But I saw the future because I thought the transfer factor was a product that we could literally, as we developed a motto early on, take to the world. So that's my background, and I've been doing this ever since. And this is my full-time avocation and vocation, is becoming a spokesperson for Life and Transfer Factor.
Well, that is great, Dr. Rob, and wow. from 5 employees when you first came in 1997 to we have well over 600 employees with the company now.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It really is.
You know what sold me on the company, though? They didn't have a lot of pizzazz at that time as we have now, but they had a warehouse full of product. And I realized that they were going to be product-focused and not just all the glitz that goes with marketing. If they're first going to focus on the product, I knew we would have long-term stability, and, of course, that's been proven.
Absolutely. And I noticed as I was reading your bio, and this has always been one of my favorite lines from your bio, a quote from you: "You can't really appreciate the freedom that 4Life allows unless your prior life has been defined by the walls of your workplace." That is fabulous. And what has your experience been with 4Life and Transfer Factor since that day in 1997?
It has allowed me and my family to live a life that we had only anticipated occurring after I retired. And of course, I was too young to retire at that time. My son became a distributor right under me right after I became a distributor. And so we are a 4Life family. As a matter of fact, it was wonderful having my entire family at the convention recently on stage, and I introduced them all, and what a thrill that was. I had 13 family members, 13 and a half, because my youngest daughter is pregnant and will be delivering in February. So I said on the stage, next convention, there'll be 14 of us there. We are truly a Transfer Factor family and a 4Life family.
Well, and like I said before, that certainly fulfills one of David and Bianca, our founders' dreams, that 4Life can be a place for families, and you and your entire family are a great, great example of that, and that a number of them are involved in the business, I think is wonderful. So that's wonderful. Absolutely.
Well, dream come true. Those of you listening who are just getting introduced to 4Life, you can do exactly what we have done, is made 4Life our life. And, the wonderful thing about this business is it doesn't matter at what level you get in, whether you get in as the first distributor or the 300,000th distributor, the potential is there for everybody to achieve their success.
Right. And now you've been so heavily involved with the products, and when you first came out and you saw the products that were there, it was probably just basically TF. You have been able to watch the evolution of the products over what's almost 16 years. What have you seen? I mean, it was a great ingredient, Transfer Factor, and a great product to start with, but I know you've had this experience of seeing the product line grow. How have you used that in building your business?
Well, we started out with just Transfer Factor, what we now call Classic. That was just our Transfer Factor. We had 5-AMJ day and nighttime. We had a separate vitamin line called the Bio Vitamins, and we had the Bio EFAs, the essential fatty acids, and that was the product line at that time. I knew it was going to evolve, but that was what we began with. And the Transfer Factor, then we began to evolve into Transfer Factor Plus, and then we started the Trifactor formulas, and then we started the targeted Transfer Factor formulas. So now, just targeted products alone, Mark, we have 9 different targeted Transfer Factors, along with our Transfer Factor Classic, our Transfer Factor Trifactor, and our Transfer Factor Trifactor Plus. And stay tuned, because I know that other products containing Transfer Factor are in the pipeline.
Well, you're on the Health Science Advisory Board, and so you kind of get in on these secrets ahead of all the rest of us, even many of us in the company, but you've been sitting in those meetings, and so I think you know as well as anybody else that there are great things coming down the pike for everybody.
Well, there's a lot of research going on right now. One thing that has attracted me from the get-go with 4Life is that it's been dedicated, the company, David, Bianca, and Steve, have been dedicated to doing in-house research. And we have had always a chief scientific officer, who is now Chris Lockwood. Cal McCausland just retired recently, and Chris came on board, who has a wonderful background. And the evolution of the product line is going to be ongoing because of the expense that 4Life puts into research. If you're anybody listening on this call, if you're ever at the home office, make sure you tour the the research lab and have explained to you everything that's going on. Right now, Rick Bennett, who is a brilliant scientist and is on our HSAB board, is working with other people at 4Life in the R&D department to actually try to figure out exactly the molecular sequence of the amino acids in transfer factors. So we're doing more research in transfer factor than anybody, and it's simply going to be exciting to see what happens in the next few years insofar as our being able to actually totally define the molecular structure of transfer factor. That's the goal of the company. It's not going to be inexpensive, but I think it's going to be doable in the future.
And from talking to David and Steve, too, our president, and Bianca, I feel like there is a very definite commitment to keep pursuing that research, don't you, Dr. Rob?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if a commitment is the commitment of money, then the commitment's there, because they've spent tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars on setting up a state-of-the-art lab so that we can do in-house testing of our products and development of new products.
When I was first introduced to transfer factor, which was just a little bit after you, I kind of felt like it seemed like an end-all, like the greatest product I have ever seen in my life of being interested in products that are good for your body. And yet, I just am understanding now that then and still at this point, I feel like we're only observing the tip of the iceberg with so much more to come for people.
Well, I think that's definitely true. And just thinking about the evolution of our product line, and transfer factor in particular, you know, we first did, my son and I, the testing on NK cells. NK cells are their frontline defense for ferreting out infections. And our initial formula, we were able to show that we were able to increase the NK cell activity by 204%. Then we had the trifactor that we got NK cell stimulation up by 283%. And right now we have our Trifactor Plus formula, which contains additional ingredients besides just our transfer factors, and we increase NK cell activity by 437%. So those percentages are showing the evolution that the company is dedicated to continuing and improving and refining our products.
Wow. And Dr. Rob, thank you for that. I think everybody in the company and people outside of the company respect your experience in the medical field, your interest in understanding the bottom line behind transfer factor, and your continuing efforts along with a number of other people like you have mentioned, Dr. Lockwood and Dr. Bennett, who are involved. Now, it's always kind of challenging when we have people like you with such an amazing educational background. But, you know, most people who are involved with 4Life, we certainly have a good number of professionals. We have people coming from many different walks of life. What opportunities do you see from your vantage point for anybody who's involved with the company on the distributor side?
Well, the opportunities are totally unlimited. The infrastructure of the company is such that anybody who has an interest in building a business is going to have all the tools and all the support that they need to literally build a business from scratch, and there's no reason why anybody can't become whatever level of distributor they wish. I don't know of a business that you can start for around $100 or $125 a month with no inventorying, no billing, no accounts receivable, nothing that you have to do because the company does that all for you. All you have to do is go out and introduce people to the opportunity. And you introduce them to the opportunity by showing them the tools that we have to help them understand the products. And then the old cliche, which is so true, you become a product of the products. If you use the products and find them beneficial, then it's like word of mouth. Like, why do I go to a movie, Mark? I go to a movie because somebody else told me about it. And so they said, you just have to go see this movie. Well, it's the same in network or multi-level marketing. If somebody tells you about a product and you use it and believe in it and you tell others, then you're networking, just like you were promoting a movie by telling others about it. So it's a simple matter of just getting the information out there. And somebody listening today who's just taking a look at this company could easily somewhere down the line, with dedication, become a diamond, presidential, international, gold, and ultimately a platinum if they simply dedicate themselves.
Well, isn't that neat? And something else that I think that people sometimes don't realize, and a focus I think is always important, is to look at your business locally. But this is truly a worldwide business. As far as I know, for you, in the United States, and I think this is as far as the United States go, your business goes from A to V, from Alaska to Vermont, all of the states, all of the initials, and worldwide. It is truly a worldwide opportunity with our seamless compensation plan that you can have people from the A's to the Z's. I think there's some people on your team in Zambia now. And so that is so exciting to me that it can spread around the world.
And Namibia, do I pronounce that correctly?
Namibia.
Yeah. Well, my goodness, look at the convention. We had 10,000 people there. One day I walked out, and every chair, I was in the front of the room, every chair was filled. We had 10,000 seats. And I was told we had 90 countries represented. Am I stating that correctly?
That is correct.
Yeah. And we have offices in 23 countries now, including the United States. So, my goodness, we are a worldwide company, and so the world is our market.
It is, and we just have the newest market in Brazil just opening up. But yeah. So it is our market, but I think you would advise people, build your business locally first and then start thinking about going someplace else. But meet people. That is the neat thing about the United States, Rob, is there are people from every nation in the world here in the United States. What a great way to start your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Rob, I just appreciate our friendship. It has been for many years now, and I have a lot of questions to ask you, but we've had a good number of distributors call in, and they've wanted to ask you questions, and I'm just going to take the liberty of going over some of those questions, if you don't mind taking a few questions from distributors today.
You know, Mark, a good question, I say, is one I have an answer to, so throw me some good questions.
Okay, I'll try and have you ones that you have answers for. Barbara Wagner from Northern California.
One of my favorites. I saw her at convention. And saw her in Hamburg in Germany. We were on a trip, and I did a meeting in front of a big crowd. I attended and spoke at a meeting in Hamburg, and Barbara was there. So what a delight she is.
Well, she is, and she is always focused on building the business, and she has a few questions for you today. One would be, can everybody take transfer factors?
Everybody can take transfer factor except one category of people we advise not to. If you've had an organic transplant, like you've had a lung transplant, a heart transplant, any type of organic transplant, and you're taking immunosuppressive drugs, and that's what you do when you have a transplant like that. You take drugs to suppress your immune system so your own body will not reject the transplant. Then you shouldn't take transfer factor. We don't know 100% sure if that's the case. Rick Bennett and I've talked about that a lot, but we feel leery about having people take transfer factor under those circumstances. Other than that, the answer is yes, everybody can take transfer factor.
Okay, everybody can take it except those who have had transplants.
Organic transplant.
Organic transplant.
Yeah, if you've had a titanium knee, that doesn't count, but, it came from another living creature.
That makes sense. Now, another question that comes up a lot, and that is about moms who are pregnant. And what should their approach be, in your opinion?
Well, years ago, when we first started the company, Ken Bach, who was a family practitioner and very well respected in Rhineberg, New York, he put out a paper which he advised pregnant women not to take transfer factor. Again, Rick Bennett and I've talked about this a lot. We've never known an adverse experience of a pregnant person taking transfer factor, but how do you prove a negative like that? So I think what the safest answer for people like that is to advise them to take material about transfer factor to their attending OBGYN and let them know what they're considering taking and get their advice. But I wouldn't just take it without the consent and knowledge of my attending obstetrician.
That is sound advice, and having the right material is so often important. And Juliana Beltran from Rhode Island asked a question about what is a simple way to explain what Renuvo is and what it does?
Well, Renuvo, by the way, I want to congratulate, I know Chris isn't on this call, but Chris Lockwood designed this product from scratch, and he had barely gotten in the door when David asked him to put together a product like this.